Hi there, my name is Robert Hicks, and I'm filming this video around the Christmas holidays, and right now I'm going to show you my record collection. So 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 my amount is what it is at time of recording. After you watch this video, my amount might change in case I get a new record, possibly. Who knows? But anyways, without further ado, let's get to it. So, my first record is this. Ooh. Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon. This is an instant classic. It has been said that this is actually the third best-selling album of all time, selling at approximately over 43 million copies worldwide. It's been considered one of the best rock albums of all time, and it's one of the best progressive rock albums out there. And for its time back in 1973 when this was released, if you listen to the entire record, it actually sounds like it was recorded on a spaceship. And here we have is Rush's Moving Pictures. This is another classic from Rush. It features many of their greatest hits like Tom Sawyer and Limelight and Red Barchetta, as well as their instrumental song YYZ. If you listen to that song, it sounds like, this is for all you geeks out there watching my video, YYZ is a song that sounds like it was from Sonic or Pokemon. My next record is The Crime of the Century by Supertramp. This is another one of my favorite records of all time. Not only is it highly experimental, but it also has some good songs on there too, such as School, Bloody Well Right, and Dreamer. It has a lot of progressive rock, pop, and jazz influences in this record. I said that kind of weird, really. I said record. It's record. I said record. Alright, so my next album is Madman Across the Water by Elton John. This released in 1971. This album features a couple of Elton John's big hits, such as Leave On and, of course, Tiny Dancer. My next record is Rush's Show of Hands, and apparently this is a live compilation of their later work. I haven't gotten this a listen yet, but I will one day. And this right here is Somewhere at Sea by Harry Hibbs. My poppy had this hanging in his house, and so when we were digging out his stuff, we decided to take this home with us. And also, this is an album that has a lot of Newfoundland music in it. Of course, that's where I'm from, Newfoundland, and Harry Hibbs brought that kind of music into Canadian music history, as he was starting that out in Toronto. My next record is Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. This is another classic from Pink Floyd. Released after The Dark Side of the Moon, this one released in 1975. This album has a lot of experimentation in each track. There's a lot of space elements, there's a lot of synths involved, and it also has a couple of good songs such as Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, and of course their famous ballad ever, Wish You Were Here, the title track. Next up is London Calling by The Clash. This is a punk rock classic. It has a lot of good songs on there, such as the London Calling, which is the title track, Rudy Can't Fall, Death or Glory, Spanish Bombs, Clamp Down, The Guns of Brixton, and Train in Vain. Those are the songs that I've listed that are actually my favorite on this album. It's also the Clash's breakthrough as well. Next up is Breakfast in America by Supertramp. This is another one of my all-time favorites, probably up in my top 5. There's a lot of good production value put into this record. The artwork is very atmospheric, and there's a lot of good songs on there, such as the Logical song, Goodbye Stranger, Breakfast in America, the title track, Oh Darling, and Take the Long Way Home. And there's a lot of good keyboard stuff in this record as well, ones that get you hooked. It's very refreshing too. This was one of Supertramp's best albums that they've sold in their career, commercially and artistically. Next up is Rush's 2112. This is another instant classic. This is Rush's breakthrough album released in 1976. One side of the record is actually one song that's actually 20 minutes long, and it has I believe there's 7 parts to that song, so it's kind of works like tracks, only it's actually one big song, and the other side is just regular tracks, such as Passage to Bangkok, The Twilight Zone, Lessons, Tears, and Something for Nothing. Those are regular songs. And this is another progressive rock classic as well. It's something called a concept album. So one part of the album actually is telling a story too. Kind of an interesting one too. Next up are my Christmas presents that I've gotten this year, at time of recording at least. This one here is Cat Stevens' Tea for the Tillerman 2. This is actually a re-recorded version of his classic album Tea for the Tillerman. It has a lot of the same tracks on the original album, only like I said, they're re-recorded. That was this year, as a matter of fact. Next up is the Tragically Hips Fully Completely. Now, some of their work is a little plain and traditional for my taste. However, when it comes to this record right here, this album does itself justice commercially and artistically as well. It's probably one of the Tragically Hips' best albums in their career, as far as I know. Next up is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I have this record on CD. However, this record right here, or this album itself, is so creative and experimental. This is a huge step forward from the Beatles' earlier work. It's also become one of the most important records in pop music history as well. So you better give that a listen. And finally, my last record I'm going to show you that I've gotten for Christmas is my recent album, is none other than Michael Jackson's Thriller. This classic, excellent album. It has held the Guinness World Records for the best-selling album of all time. I'm not sure if it still is, but this is a huge classic, instant banger. You definitely need to listen. The tracks on the record, as a matter of fact, there's only 9 tracks on there, but believe it or not, 7 out of 9 of the tracks actually made it to number 1 in 1983, as this album was released in 1982. Such hits as Wanna Be Starting Something, The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, Thriller, the title track, obviously, good classic, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, and PYT. I recommend giving this album a listen. You'll be listening to this over and over again. Anyways, well, that's enough of my records for for today at time of recording. So I hope I didn't stumble on my words too much, did I? I kind of did a lot, but that's just my thoughts. So I hope you give some of these records a listen if you agree with me, if you agree with my selections, of course. Anyways, I hope 2020 hasn't been too depressing for you at times, and remember, stay safe and have a good time as much as possible. Thank you.